How many times have you heard people say, follow your passion? It's, really popular advice that if you pursue a job matching your interests, you'll end up with a wonderful career and be happy. However, is this actually true? Do you really need to have a pre-existing passion? Is there a dream job waiting for you somewhere that will bring you the most satisfaction? This is what's called the passion hypothesis. It says you have to figure out what you really want first and then follow that career path. To test if this idea is true, let's talk about the story of one of the most successful men in the world. That's none other than Steve Jobs. You might expect Steve Jobs to have been a computer enthusiast or an aspiring entrepreneur when he started his career, but actually, he studied liberal arts at Reed College. Jobs insisted on walking barefoot and growing his hair long. He took classes on Western history and Eastern religion. After just 1 year, he dropped out, but he stayed on campus for a while. He slept on the floor and waited for free meals from the local Hare Krishna temple. Because of Jobs' bizarre ways, he became a campus celebrity. Many students even referred to him as the Freak. Eventually, Jobs got tired of his routine and went back home to California to live with his parents. He spent several months in India on a spiritual journey. Then Jobs began formal training at the Los Altos Zen Center. Meanwhile, Steve Wozniak was hired to design a terminal device that people could use for computer time-sharing. Wozniak was the real electronic whiz. He was the one truly obsessed with technology and studied computer science in college. Wozniak could definitely create the terminal device, but he wasn't good at business negotiations. That's why he asked his longtime friend Steve Jobs for help. Jobs actually lost the gig, though, when he left without a word to spend time with his spiritual group. So, months before starting Apple, Steve Jobs was just an eccentric young man who occasionally did electronics work for cash. Model kits were really popular back then. These were circuit boards that computer enthusiasts could assemble at home. Jobs proposed to Wozniak that they design their own circuit board. They could produce a unit for $25 and sell it for $50. Jobs said they could earn $1,000 in profit. The big break came when Jobs went barefoot to Byte Shop, a computer store owned by Paul Terrell. Jobs pitched the circuit boards to Terrell, but Terrell said he wanted fully assembled computers and was willing to pay $500 each. He also said he wanted 50 units as soon as possible. And that's how Apple got started. Did Steve Jobs follow his passion at the time? If he had pursued what he loved, Jobs would have been a spiritual guru at the Los Altos Zen Center. He didn't have dreams of changing the world. It all started with a good business opportunity. Passion is rare. A group of students interviewed successful people from different fields about following their passion, but the answers they got were not what they expected. The students asked, how did you figure out what you want and how did you know what you would be good at? Ira Glass, a famous radio host, said that in the movies, the character just goes for his dream and everything falls into place. That doesn't happen in real life. Glass believes that things happen in stages. It takes time to be good at anything. He worked for many years before mastering radio and before he was offered bigger opportunities. He said the key is to push yourself through the work, to force yourself to attain higher skills. The students also interviewed Andrew Steele, an astronomer. Steele said he had no idea what he really wanted to do, and strongly disagrees with people who say that young people should be sure about what career they want to pursue. Steele didn't take a PhD because he hoped to change the world someday. He just wanted to have more options. Many successful people answered like this. All of them agree that great careers start with complex origins. It's not simply about having a passion and following it. Psychologists around the world have done many studies about this topic. What keeps people motivated at work? There are common reasons why people are satisfied in their jobs, and surprisingly, following their passion is not one of them. First, passion takes time. Amy Rzesniewski is a psychologist from Yale University. She studied the distinction between a job, a career, and a calling. A job is something you do to pay the bills. A career means more satisfying work. A calling is a big part of your identity, a vital part of your life. Amy surveyed people from different occupations like doctors, teachers, secretaries, programmers. You would expect that most teachers and doctors say that they have a calling, but that is not the case. Passion is not a predictor of a satisfying career. Amy also interviewed college administrative assistants. You would expect that this kind of work is boring and repetitive. But some assistants answered that it is their calling. The strongest predictor of assistants who consider their work as calling is the number of years they have been on the job. The The more experience they have, the more they love the work. 3 basic psychological factors determine motivation at work. First is autonomy. It is the feeling of an employee that he has control over his daily routine and that his actions have an impact on the organization. Second is competence. It is the feeling of confidence derived from being good at what you do. Third is relatedness. It is establishing friendship with your colleagues. Take, for example, the college administrative assistants. Those who have more years and more experience say they have found their calling. That is because they have mastered their skills, they feel more confident, and they gained more control over their workday. It's a domino effect. If you stay long enough, if you learn more skills, you will become an expert. Your high level of skills will gain you more freedom to do what you want. But if you give up early and say that this is not simply your passion, then you will keep on looking for other work. You will feel frustrated and doubt your abilities. Instead of getting better, gaining competence and autonomy, you will hop from one job to another. In the end, following your passion is dangerous. Be so good they can't ignore you. Jordan Tice is a famous acoustic guitar player. He lives in a house which he shares with other musicians. Jordan has a small bedroom which looks like a monk owns it. The room is only big enough for a twin bed, a desk, and a chair. Jordan has an amplifier, a luggage bag, and his guitar. That's all his belongings. Jordan is 24 years old, but he had so much experience in the music scene. He signed his first record deal when he was still a high school student. Gary Ferguson, a veteran acoustic guitarist, chose Jordan to tour with him when Jordan was only 16 years old. There are many other good guitar players, but Gary chose Jordan over them. He never became arrogant. Jordan is more focused on improving his skill. When the author Cal Newport visited him, Jordan was practicing his new composition, which was inspired by a masterpiece of Debussy. The composition is complex. Jordan kept on trying because he couldn't get it right at the quick pace he wants. When he makes a mistake, Jordan stops and starts all over again. He practices 3 hours a day. It takes him 1 month to master one composition. Steve Martin, the successful stand-up comedian, was asked for some tips to aspiring entertainers. He said that youngsters don't listen to his advice because it's not what they wanted to hear. Young comedians want to learn how to get an agent or how to write a good script. But Martin simply says that you need to be so good that they can't ignore you. Do not ask if this is your passion, or how can you get an audience, or how will you make money. Focus on improving your skill first. Be excellent. If you have extraordinary skills, opportunities will naturally come to you. Mark Cass Stevens is a studio musician. He has played on 99 songs which appeared #1 on the Billboard charts. Mark said that you need to be obsessive on improving the quality of your output. The high level of skill is far more important than your appearance, personality, equipment, and connections. All your mastery will show in the song. This is what Cal Newport calls craftsman mindset. It is focusing solely on improving the quality of your craft. He distinguishes craftsman mindset from the passion mindset. In the craftsman mindset, you focus on what you can give to the world. Oppositely, in the passion mindset, you focus on what the world can give you. If you have the passion mindset, you tend to see what your current work is lacking. Especially on the entry level, you still don't have autonomy or competence. You still wouldn't have control over your work, and you wouldn't be assigned any challenging tasks. Of course, these require more time and experience. So the result is that you are unhappy and frustrated at the job. In the passion mindset, you also start to doubt yourself. You ask, what do I really want to do with my life? Or is this the most I can get? You feel confused and think that you are missing something important. Drop all these unhelpful ideas right now and adapt the craftsman mindset. Remove all these feelings of unhappiness and self-doubt. Focus on getting better at what you do. Get really damn good. Be so good that people can't ignore you. Stop asking if this is your passion. Right now, on your job, give your best performance. With time and experience, you will gain more autonomy and competence. You will love your work. The power of career capital. Let's face it, most jobs do not really offer opportunities for creativity, impact, or control for entry-level employees. Your boss will more likely tell you to go change the water cooler rather than go change the world. Creativity, impact, and control in a job are rare and valuable, but it is possible to get it. How? It is simple supply and demand. If you give something rare and valuable on the job, then you will also get extraordinary value in return. Makes sense, right? Do not expect your job to give something rare and valuable to you, especially when you are only starting. Take it upon yourself to offer rare and valuable skills, and then you will be rewarded. Take, for example, the surfboard entrepreneur, Al Merrick. He used to be a boat builder before he started creating surfboards. Naturally, at first, Merrick sucked. His surfboards are not high quality. They are not suitable for professional surfers. But Merrick kept on working hard. He focused on getting better and improving his skill. He was afraid of failure. Merrick once got the chance of designing a surfboard for a world champion. He knew how big a responsibility it is, but he tried harder and performed better than he ever did before. Now, Merrick is a successful businessman. His beautiful office is located near the beach. He can swim and surf anytime he wants. Merrick's surfboard brand is popular because it is the brand of world champions. Before Merrick got in this great position, he offered something rare and valuable in his work first. How many surfboard makers out there can create world-class surfboards? It requires intense amount of skill and effort. Because he focused on being the best, Merrick now enjoys creativity, impact, and control. He loves his work very much. Now, you may think that in your company, it's really impossible to get more creativity, impact, and control. You may have a job like John, a tax consultant, who is an avid reader of Cal Newport's blog. John wrote to Cal that his tasks at work are strictly pre-assigned, which makes it difficult to stand out. The hours are long, and the work doesn't have a higher purpose. John worries that the tax business gives a burden to poor people. In this case, Cal advised John to leave his job. So there are 3 traits which, totally disqualify a job from the effectiveness of the craftsman mindset. That basically means it can never be your great work. First, the reason might be that the job has very few opportunities for you to offer rare and valuable skills. If you have strictly prescribed tasks like John, exceeding expectations might even be a mistake. Second, the job could be towards something useless or, honestly, even actively degrading to the world. Third, the job forces you to work with people you, really despise. Any of these traits will prevent you from building a work you love. Becoming a craftsman. Hey, have you ever heard about the 10,000-hour rule? Since the 1970s, a lot of psychologists have concluded that to become a master at anything, you need to have 10,000 hours of practice. That actually translates to at least 10 years of experience. For example, Bill Gates was enrolled in one of the first high schools in America to install computers. By the time he started Microsoft, Gates already had more than 10,000 hours spent in programming, and then there's Mozart, the famous child prodigy. His father toured him around Europe for several years, and Mozart played the piano every single day in front of a live audience since he was a child. However, Neil Charnes, a psychologist from Florida State University, pointed out that it's not just about the hours of practice, but also the quality of practice that leads to mastery. Charnes studied the careers of chess players all over the world. Some had practiced for 10,000 hours, yet they didn't become grandmasters. The difference is how grandmasters used their time. Some chess players believe that tournament play is better at improving skill, while others say that it is serious study. In tournament play, a chess player challenges as many opponents as he can, but the problem is, if the opponent is just at the same level or lower level of skills than yours. In serious study, the chess player reads books and trains under a good coach. He becomes more competent because he gets immediate feedback. The coach helps him to identify his weak spots and get better at them. You can see this trend in the careers of musicians, athletes, scientists, or really any expert in their field. The concept is called deliberate practice. It is a style of serious study under the direct supervision of a coach whose main purpose is to improve the individual's performance. Some professionals experience what's called a career plateau. That means they stop improving their skill at an acceptable level. They do not become world class. They stick in their comfort zone and fail to challenge themselves further. This is an important fact you need to know. Deliberate practice is often, unpleasant. You will be under constant cycles of stretch and destroy. So, what does it mean? Stretch means pushing yourself further. Once an Olympic athlete masters a skill, he starts with a higher level, which is beyond his comfort zone. He beats his own record. Imagine the physical and mental strength needed to do that. But after stretching yourself, you will be under the scrutiny of a coach who destroys you with honest feedback. Just when you think you did great work, someone will be there to say that it's not good enough. But immediate feedback is a vital part of deliberate practice. You will never get better if you don't know what you're lacking. Honest feedback can be painful, but you need to suck it up if you really want to become the best. The Career Capitalists. Mike Jackson is a director at Wesley Group, which is a renewable energy venture capital firm located in Silicon Valley. It's honestly a great career where Mike earns a lot of money while saving the world. Mike has traveled to many countries, and he's met with several senators and mayors of big cities. But, he didn't start this awesome career by following his passion. Mike built career capital before he even knew what he really wanted to do. Mike took up biology and earth systems at Stanford University. After finishing his bachelor's degree, he continued to study for a master's. The professor who mentored him was thinking of a major research project in India about the natural gas sector. He advised Mike to explore this subject for his thesis. The professor liked the results of Mike's paper. Because of that, he launched major research in India and asked for Mike's help to lead the project. Mike made the most out of it. He knew that if he did his best in this project, he would have more opportunities in his career. Mike traveled to India 10 times, to China 5 times, and a couple of times in Europe. He had meetings with leaders of major utility companies and really understood how the global energy market operates. The research ended after 2 years. Mike and his mentor held a big international conference to present their results. Government officials and professors from all over the world attended the event. After that, Mike was prepared to go to the next level of his career. He started a business called Village Green. Because of his experiences, Mike understood how the international renewable energy market works. He offered a service to companies in the form of certification, which proves that they do not release carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Mike ran this business for 2 years. However, the recession hit in 2009, and he decided to close the business. What happened next in Mike's career is honestly pretty interesting. He had a friend who was a stand-up comedian. That guy has a girlfriend who was having a job interview for a venture capital firm. The girlfriend turned down the offer, but she suggested that the firm reach out to Mike. She thought that Mike was a good fit because of his experience in the startup. Mike showed up even though he had doubts. He had no idea how to find the next Instagram, but he could definitely tell which clean energy firm had the most potential. Mike had never had a job interview in his life. He and the interviewer realized at once that Mike would not get the job. That's why they talked more like friends. The interviewer learned about Mike's experiences and said that he knew someone who was starting a clean tech venture capital firm. In 2009, Mike became an intern at the Wesley Group. Months after, he was hired as a full-time analyst and then became promoted as an associate. 2 years after that, Mike was offered the director position. That is how Mike achieved his great work. With every stage, he collected as much career capital as possible. It is his most important asset. From a researcher to an entrepreneur to a director of a top company, Mike jumped at the next best opportunity which he could get with his newly expanded skill. Conclusion. So, you learned about the fact about following your passion. Most successful people did not have a pre-existing passion when they started their career. Like Steve Jobs, most of them were not sure what they really wanted to do. You learned that passion is rare and honestly kind of dangerous. The road to a great career is long and bumpy. It comes in stages. You need time and experience to achieve autonomy and competence at work. If you quit early, then you wouldn't reach the level of satisfaction. You learned about the craftsman mindset and the passion mindset. Do not focus on what the job can give you. Focus on what you can offer on the job. Disregard all your doubts and insecurities. Throw them out of the window. Target just one important thing. That is improving the quality of your work. You learned about the 10,000-hour rule, deliberate practice, and honest feedback. Push yourself further. Do not be complacent. Accept the constructive criticism from your boss or mentor. That is the only way to become the best. You learned about career capital. Your skills are your most important asset. For every stage, make sure that you have increased your career capital so that you can jump to the next great opportunity. You can become one of the best in your field. Stop asking already if this is the right job for you or if this is really your passion in life. Instead, offer something rare and valuable to your job. Improving your skill is the sure way to success. If you love this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content. Thank you for watching.